What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Jake here at Nerd Level Rising, and I have another awesome week to share with you another gigantic stack of books to discuss. So let's jump right in. The first thing that we did this week, we finished up Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. This was a buddy read with Ashley from Library of a Silver Saint and Andrew from Brother Grimdark over on Instagram. And this was a great time, man. Was this book perfect? No, right? I'll be honest about that. But doing the buddy read with those two and talking to them about it every day, we did like 2 chapters a day, it took us almost a month to get through this. Like it was so fun just talking to those guys every day and getting their thoughts, sharing our thoughts, just the theories that we had, things that just made us kind of step back and go like, whoa, that was crazy. That happened. I wonder what this character is going to do next. Where's this going to go? Right. It was so fun. It was so fun. And it was great to be back in the First Law world. I loved that first trilogy. Tried to read The Devils when it first came out. It wasn't really for me. And so I wanted to get back to First Law. I was like, I'm not out on Abercrombie just yet, right? I know he has more good stuff in store for me. And so we got back to this and it was great. I had a really good time. I think that some aspects of it kind of lost me by the end. I'm going to be honest about that, right? There was some aspects of this were not my absolute favorite thing. I see the pattern. I mentioned this, I think, last week. Started to see the pattern. First Law did this, The Devils did this did this, where we start off, we're gathering the group. They all have their kind of weird idiosyncrasies. They're kind of goofy in some way. They have their thing, and then we're going to go out on this quest together, and then chaos ensues and whatever, right? So like we have this pattern that I was like, all right, it's feeling a little bit predictable here. And, some parts of that, some of those characters, some of those plot lines, love, absolutely love. I would love another standalone book with a couple of those characters, right? Some of it really lost my interest by the end. I'm just going to be honest. And I think that some of that took away some of the stakes and some of the really punchy payoff that I was kind of hoping for by the end. And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe that's the whole point, because people discuss a lot that the First Law trilogy was taking a lot of what Tolkien did with Lord of the Rings and sort of taking it apart and doing some weird things and sort of showing it to you sort of inside out in a way, right? Then I'm like, well, maybe that's what he was doing with this in some way, and maybe that was on purpose, and it wasn't, just sort of I can't be that upset if it was the purpose, right? And maybe it just didn't click for me as a personal taste perspective, but it doesn't mean that it was poorly done or anything like that. Totally, that could totally be the case. For whatever reason, some of this did kind of lose me a little bit by the end, but it was still such an awesome experience, and definitely need to read a book with those two again at some point, because this was just awesome. And now I have the heroes on my shelf because Ashley was so sweet and sent it to me. So we're locked and loaded for another First Law book whenever we can squeeze it into the old schedule. So that was awesome. I did finish the last of the Adaman short stories that Christopher Ruocchio wrote. These are his sword and sorcery, just quick, sort of episodic in a way. Like there is a sequential manner to them, but you can kind of read them I think you can read them in pretty much any order and be fine. He's got 4 of these out right now. One of them you can read for free. I linked it on my last weekly update video on I think it was the birthday book haul video. You can see the link in there for the free one that you can get, the Barrow King. And then the Shrine of Lost Stars, you can read the early draft on his Patreon, on Christopher's Patreon. What is the other one? The Pilgrim Road, you can read on the Patreon. And then the final one that I read this week, The Wages of Sin, you can read on the Patreon as well. Wages of Sin got really dark. And, if you're familiar with the Sun Eater, you're familiar with where Christopher can go at times. And this one, it was not the same that what happens in Sun Eater, but in some ways it's worse. And it was just a great story. It was a great story. So I really, really love those Adaman stories. I hope that he just continues to do those for a super, super long time, and he's talked a lot about after the Sun Eater's done, he's going to do a fantasy series next, and it's sort of up in the air whether or not that's going to be an Adaman series or not. There's sort of 2 camps, right, with it. Some think it is, some think it's not. I'm sort of more in the camp that I think it's not. I think it's going to be something else. However, maybe that's just wishful thinking, but because I want some other new stuff from him, but I also want him to keep doing the Adaman stories. Like, just let these be short stories, put one out every so often, right? And just eventually we can have an anthology. It'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. So definitely go check those out if you are a fan of Christopher's prose and you want to see what he can do with some, non-science fiction stuff. It's really cool. And if you like Berserk, there's plenty of Berserk influence there as well. Okay, what else did we get into? Well, I continued very slowly chipping away at the death of King Arthur. David and I, David from Four Corners of the Page, have been reading this together. Sort of, like you can see how far into this I am, that we're both going exceptionally slowly, partially just because we're both really busy, partially because this is incredibly dense. I mean, this was written in the 1400s, right? So the language is very different, very not what I'm used to. And so I just have to go really slow. I mean, I've been sitting down, and I think the winning recipe for me with this is like 7 to 10 pages at a time, right? Very little chunks. And even that has been taking me 20, 30 minutes to get through, just because it's a lot, right? It's a lot. But it's been a really cool experience. I'm really enjoying this experience. I'm really enjoying just reading the prose, right? Like it's just really interesting. It's not a narrative story like we're used to. It's very much so like a recounting of history in a lot of ways. And, but just the words that are used, the structure of the sentences, the flow of it, it's so different from any of this stuff, right? It's so different. And I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying seeing the origin of a lot of influences. I mean, the King Arthur stories are just, it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. So it's cool to see the origins of that, or more or less the origins of that. And yeah, it's just been a cool experience. So we're going to keep trying to chip away at this here this week. And right now I'm up to the tale of Balin and Balin. I don't know. I'm sure one of those is pronounced differently. Anyway, but yeah, interesting. And some more things I was not expecting, like multiple quintessential King Arthur stories to be happening within the first 30 pages. I'm on page 33. And like we've already seen a few really big things. And I'm like, whoa, what's the rest of this book going to have? So we'll see. But that's been really cool. We have been, what else? I guess this is next. The Power That Preserves, right? The Power That Preserves. As of this morning, I am now about 75% of the way through this, so I'm almost done. I should finish this very quickly. And this is awesome, man. This is the third book in the Thomas Covenant series, the first trilogy, written by Stephen R. Donaldson, legend of the not just fantasy genre, but science fiction as well, with his Gap series. This has, this is giving me everything that I wanted out of this, and I didn't know that I wanted those things, if that makes sense. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think Donaldson does some different things with this that makes it feel very fresh. All three of these books have felt very fresh and very different, not just with the things that are being explored, but the actual structure of the books. And I had this realization this morning while I was reading. The structure of each of these three books is mirroring the emotional journey that our main character, Thomas Covenant, is having as he goes through this whole trilogy, right? And I'm just like, that's just brilliant, man. It's brilliant. It's just this Donaldson guy is a legend for a reason. I'll tell you what. And so that was a really cool moment for me to just have that click. And I'm seeing some of these themes that I thought. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned this when I first picked up Lord Valsbane. I'm pretty sure we'll have to go back and check the tape. I think I mentioned that there is if not, I definitely wrote it in my notes. So trust me, bro. But I wrote down, like, I think there's this theme that might go through this entire trilogy, this entire story, this idea of holding on to hope, just barely scratching and clawing to hold on to hope when everything is damn near hopeless, and just fighting for your humanity, fighting for not completely giving into despair even when everything makes you feel like you want to. And I think that's sort of panning out, so I feel smart. That's kind of cool. But this is super action-packed. It's got a lot of the slow, exploring the land. Of course, we're much more familiar with the land at this point, but it's got those slow moments. We're still doing a fair amount of walking. If you've read these, you'll know there's a lot of walking in these. It's not bad, but it's just a lot of walking around, a lot of introspection and that sort of thing. But book 2 had a lot more action than book 1 did. This one has had a ton of action, and it's done differently than it was done in book 2, and I'm really appreciating that. It's keeping them feeling very original as we go, but there's still all those through lines, and the progression makes perfect sense. This is great. This is great. So I will finish this here within the next few days. Very excited for that. And then what will be next, right? What will be next? I'm going to keep chipping away at King Arthur. We're going to finish up Power That Preserves. And you know what's next, guys? It's the Empire of the Vampire. This is it, right? It's time. It's time, finally. Everybody's telling me this is written for me. I'm so excited. And I have high expectations, high hopes, right? So hopefully not too high. Hopefully my expectations aren't high enough that it's going to sabotage it a little bit. I don't think so, but man, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. That's going to be awesome. So that'll be my next physical read. After that, I think what I'll be able to jump into, actually, you know what? I forgot to mention this. I've been working on reading the third Inheritance of Magic book by Benedict Jacka, and this is A Judgment of Powers is what it's called. This is an arc that I got from NetGalley. I feel like a real book reviewer now because I got a NetGalley arc, right? My very first one. I'm all grown up. And so I've been reading that. I've been having a really good time with that. It started off, honestly, the way that book 2 left off, I was like, man, this is a big cliffhanger. I really hope that book 3 picks up at this point. And it sort of did and sort of didn't, right? Like it's not exactly what I was expecting, but still really satisfied that feeling that I was hoping for, if that makes sense. So I'm enjoying that. It's not going to take long. Those books read super, super fast, and they're not very long anyway. So we'll get through that pretty soon. And then the other thing that I'll be picking up at that point, once I get that off the docket, will be A Drowned Kingdom by P.L. Stewart. Very excited for this for a couple of reasons, right? One, look how gorgeous this edition is, right? The broken binding, just how vibrant this blue, I hope it's coming through on the camera, how vibrant this blue is. It's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about this story. I know that Philip Chase has talked about this with a lot of reverence. I know Janie Wirtz has talked about this with just the utmost respect. It's got both of their stamps of approval. And you know what? If that's not good enough for me, then I don't know what is. So we're going to check this out. This is a buddy read. This is led by Zachary Shea, and he set this up, and it's him, myself, of course. We got David from Four Corners of the Page. We got Nikhil from Shelf Esteem, Sam from iSamwise, Philip Chase, who I just mentioned, is jumping in with us, and then notes, so I don't forget, Preacher just got added in there too, so that'll be really fun. Big group, very fun group, all people that I love hanging out with and talking about books with, and that's just going to be the best time. Really, really excited for that. And the other aspect that's exciting about this is going to be our first ever NLR Book Club pick, right? Now, let me just say this, okay? I'm not going to double dip like this in the future. This is a one-time thing. The reason for this, and I mentioned this when I talked about the book club when we launched it, as if there's more, it's just me, right? When I launched it. The reason for this is because my TBR was already really stacked up with a bunch of things, but I really wanted to start this, right? And because of the timing of it, I'm going to do it every 2 months, right? So we'll have 2 months to read each book club selection. During those 2 months, we'll be doing the selection process for the next book. So here's where starting at very end of August, we're going to have the next selection process that actually will be happening starting today, if you're watching this, right? So if you're in the book club, check it out, right? Go into that private section of the Discord. You should be able to see the link to get that process started. And if you're not in the book club and you want to join, it's never too late, man. You can jump in whenever you want in this process. And you know, the timing, you don't have to be there from day one of month 1 of the 2-month process. You can jump in whenever you want. So if you want to join, jump in. But we're going to have the September and October are going to be when we're doing the selection process for the November-December book. And I didn't want people to have to wait 2 months to have a book to talk about together. So I was like, all right, let me look at the stuff that I'm already kind of locked into here in September and in October, and we'll see, you know, are any of these book ones in a series or any of these standalones? And, you know, is this anything that you guys are interested in? So we put up a little poll in there, and the one that won was The Drowned Kingdom, and I'm very excited for that. So that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. And speaking of the Patreon, join the Patreon if you're interested, if you have, you know, any desire to jump in and have your hands in the channel, be more involved in the channel. There's a few tiers in there. There's the Fellowship of the Nerds. There's the Nerds of the Mistwraith, where you can really get in there and, you know, I'm going to get video ideas and topics that you guys want to see and make sure that I'm putting out the content that you guys are really, really interested in, or that you just would think would be fun for me to talk about, that I'm very here for that. And then also, you know, as I've talked about, I want to do author interviews more here in year 2 of the channel that just began. And so we're going to be able to get questions from you guys to kind of help, you know, give you guys an opportunity to have your questions answered by authors. And then, of course, Kingdoms of Nerds, the highest tier, the book club tier, just $6 a month. It's nice and cheap, right? We have 2 months to read the book. We're going to have a really fun, really interactive book selection process that I'm super, super excited about. I think it's the most fair book selection process that I've come across, right? Which is why I did it. I wanted to make sure that it was more effort on my part, but that's fine. I wanted it to be the most fair and even playing field that we could get, and make sure that we're reading the thing that the most people want to read the most, right? And it's not just like a random chance chaos thing or just purely popular choice or whatever, right? So very excited about that. So if you're interested, links in the description, you can check that out. Now, speaking of awesome community, right, that we're building with this Patreon, even more so than what we already have, I have some book mail, right? Some of this coming from the community, which this is just amazing, right? Every day, this just blows me away. Okay, but before that though, I did get a broken binding book. This is The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. I'm not familiar with this name, but it seems like this is very well regarded and very highly respected in the sci-fi community. This is actually my first ever book in the sci-fi sub that I finally got on, so that's really awesome. And just gorgeous. They never miss with their cover art. This is just great. I love the colors of this. I love the edges. You can see just like really nice. I just love how they weird like panther alien something, right? So cool, right? It sounds awesome. So this is really exciting. It seems like it's something about humans going out and exploring this this other planet and with the purpose of peace, right? And I hazard to guess that it's not quite so simple once they get there, right? But that's really cool. I love that edition. That's awesome. We got I mentioned Andrew from Brother Grimdark earlier, right? That I was reading Best Served Cold with. He was so nice and sent me Priest of Bones. This is from Peter McLean. This is the War for the Rose Throne words. I'm really excited about this, right? This kind of got on my radar when Mike from Mike's Book Reviews talked about these and how much he loved them and how much they really gave him that grimdark vibe that he wanted. And I know people talk about like Peaky Blinders, the Netflix show that I haven't seen, but I know the vibe, I know the style. And like that in a grimdark fantasy world just sounds awesome and like exactly what I would really, really love. So I'm stoked to check this out. I know the books aren't super duper long. I mean, this is what, 300 pages or something? 350? Nothing crazy, right? So not hard to squeeze this in. Very excited to have this, and I can't wait to check out this series. Thank you, Andrew, so much, dude. This is so nice of you. Man, that's awesome. And then DMM over on Discord was maybe one of my new favorite people now, right? If you weren't already before, now you certainly are, right? Sending me the first deluxe edition of Berserk. My favorite manga of all time, at least for now. We'll see if One Piece surpasses it, which it might. Right, it might. I'm not gonna lie, but Berserk is still just incredible. I love these deluxe editions. I've wanted them forever since they started making them, and I just couldn't justify the price because I'd already spent all this money on the individual volumes. But if y'all are gonna give me this as a gift, like you better believe, like now I'm gonna need the full set, right? Because I am a completionist at heart, and so I'm so excited to have this. I can't wait to get it up there on my shelf. I'm gonna see how I can organize it so it all looks nice together. And oh man, these are If you haven't seen these, is this spoilery? I want to try and find something that's not spoilery. Right? Like, so nice. So nice. You got the brand mark right there. It's just, love this thing. So I definitely am going to need the full set of these. Very, very excited about that. Thank you so much, man. That's such a generous gift. That's just incredible. Just incredible. Okay. Last bit of book mail here. My first ever order from Illumicrate, and it's a doozy, you guys. The Farseer Trilogy Special Edition. So when I ordered this was purely based on faith because I'm like, I have now infamously not read any Robin Hobb yet, but it's because, and I stand by this, it's because I know it's going to be an all-time favorite, and I just keep pushing it off because I don't want it to be over. But it's getting really, really hard to not start this yet because now I have the Farseer Trilogy in those just gorgeous UK paperbacks. I love those so much. I love the style. I love it. So now I have those thanks to Books, Beverages, and Besties. Thank you again so much for the birthday gift. And now I have these. I pre-ordered these months ago on faith that I knew I was going to love it and I was going to want this thing. And I was like, well, worst case scenario is if I don't love it, I can, send these off to somebody else who will love it even more. But you know what? I might keep them because this is just... It's so much more than I was expecting, right? Because when I got it, I was aware, obviously hardcover, and I was aware of the cover art, right? And I loved the front cover. I just loved the design. I loved how it looks. And I didn't expect, sprayed edges. Very cool. I don't know what this design is, but it looks really cool. We have not just sprayed edges, but now we have board art, right? On all the naked hardcovers that are just beautiful and so cozy and just makes me want to sit in that room. That just seems so nice. And we have the end papers on everything. This is just beautiful. I didn't know there was going to be so much artwork in these, and so my criteria now for special editions that I get, this is certainly fitting those criteria, and that just makes me very, very happy. So Assassin's Apprentice, we have Royal Assassin, then we got the ship on the front, which makes me really hope that they're going to do the whole series in sort of a matching style, because boats look really cool, and I love how they did this boat, and I would love to see how they do the live ship boats. That'd be really, really, really awesome. And then, of course, Assassin's Quest, right? I don't know what city that is, but it looks great. And something, seems kind of tense on the back. We'll see. To be determined what's happening there, but just the spines are gorgeous. I hope this is showing up nice on the camera. Wow. Those are just beautiful. So excited to have those. That's oh man. Okay. Now we just got to find space. And we got to make time to read them. That's everything. That's all the reading. That's all the book mail stuff. If you get a chance, if you weren't there on Saturday, go check out the replay of the live stream that I did with Red from Red's Reading Cafe. That's on my channel. And he's just the best. He's super fun to talk to. His channel is awesome. Maybe some of the best quality camera work that you'll see on BookTube. Certainly up there. So go check out his channel and subscribe. And then also head over to Abel's channel, where you can see the discussion that we had, our big group discussion for Fugitive Prince, Book 4 in the Wars of Light and Shadow, where I'm going to leave some people out if I try to name everybody. Abel hosted, of course. I was there. Shay was there. Tom Orange was there. Sylvia from Library Unbounded was there. John from Talking Story. Brian Bell from BellTube. Who am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing somebody. See, this is why I don't do this. This is why I got to write it down. Anyway, huge group, amazing people. Just the most fun group of people to hang out with. Janny was there with us, right? Like it was just awesome. It's awesome. So those discussions are so much fun. Very happy that we got to do that. And you'll see Shay and I have been doing our one-on-one conversations about the books as well. And we'll have a discussion on Fugitive Prince coming up in the not too distant future, right? We'll make that happen so we can get even more in depth to some of those parts of that discussion that has to get spread out a little bit more when there's just so many people there, right? So that'll be fun. And then an announcement to leave us off here. This coming Friday, this will be September 5th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Live stream on my channel, NLR Together, the next episode with Sharon Tabitha from Books, Beverages, and Besties. It seems like everybody's new favorite channel these days, and I'm excited to talk to them one-on-one on the camera, right? Like I've been, talking to them in Discord and comments and things like that, but I'm really excited to talk to them more or less face-to-face, because I think we have a lot of things in common and a lot of fun things we can talk about, and they're just the coolest, and I love their energy and how much fun their videos are. So I can't wait to hang out with them here this Friday evening. If you are free, come hang out with us. And with that, that's all I got for this week's update. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, have you read any of these lovely book mail things? What do you think of Farseer, right? How much am I going to regret putting it off for so long once I finally get there? What's going on? How is your week? What are you reading? What are you excited for this coming week? All that good stuff. Check the video description. You got the Patreon there. I got the Discord group there. You can come hang out. Discord is free, by the way, for everybody. You can come hang out and make friends there. Follow me on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more of the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.